Hello, I'm Game Retainer, and in this video I'll be going over a handful of locations that are great for looting in 7 Days to Die. I will be focusing on the Navezgane map for this one, however, I am also working on some pre-gen videos as well. I have made another video on loot locations, which I will put up there, all about the Navezgane map. And also keep in mind that I'm trying to keep my loot selection varied, so there should be a little something for everyone. There are some locations that are good for early game, mid game, late game. With that out of the way, let's jump straight in. Up first, we've got the Perkel residence, or at least I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. This place, as you can see, can be found in the burnt forest biome, and it is just a stone's throw away from the pine forest. This is a fantastic place to come and loot on day 1 or day 2 of your playthrough. If you are in the later stages of the game, then this place is not going to have much for you, but early on it's pretty good. It is a tier 1 POI by default, so it's pretty easy to clear out. However, if you are feeling a little bit lazy and you don't want to go through the whole hassle of clearing out the whole POI to get the loot, you can simply go down the stairs. There is a wooden door here, so it really doesn't take long for you to break it down with an axe, and the other side of that door is some loot. Again, since it is a tier 1 POI, you're not going to get all that much, but considering that you don't really have to put in a lot of effort, it's not a bad place to come and visit. There will be a few enemies down here. Obviously, the enemies that you come across will depend on your overall game stage. My game stage is pretty high, hence why there's some radiated zombies down here. But on top of the loot, if you come down here with a wrench, you can walk away with some nice mechanical parts. You can break down this for some extra cloth. There's a few bits you can take if you're willing to spend some time here. But you can literally be in and out of this place in 60 seconds or less, which makes it pretty good for getting stocked up during the early stages of the game. We're in the snow biome for this next one. This is the Flushing Rule Palace, and you can find this on Navezgane in the town of Perishton. This place is a tier 4 POI, however it's not usually that difficult to clear out. The loot itself is pretty good, however what makes this place excellent is the sheer volume of salvageable items. If you come here with a wrench, a ratchet or an impact driver, you will walk away a very rich individual. Heading in through the law firm on the right, there doesn't seem to be that much. However, if you go upstairs, there is just a sea of plastic and paper. There's also plenty of cardboard boxes for you to search, and be sure not to miss out on this little weapons bag hiding up here. Moving through the building, this is where it gets very, very lucrative. There are toilets everywhere. Toilets are great for water, paper, and the occasional pistol. There are plenty more boxes for you to break down, and there are more crates to search. On a completely unrelated note, the toilets hanging off the sign outside, they contain stuff. Make of that what you will. Heading downstairs to the main showroom, and you'll find a sea of toilets. Everyone you can search, which is slightly concerning really. Breaking everything down in this building will net you plenty of useful materials. If you then move on, you will enter a working stiff tools. And while there's not all that much in here, you will find a couple of crates that you can break open. However, the main loot for this POI can be found on the central rooftop here, and it is pretty good. Overall, you will walk away with much more than you can carry should you decide to come and give this one a visit. And if you're feeling extra cheeky, there is a town hall right next door, which you can see I built a little case to show off in a previous video, because there is some easy loot up for grabs in here. We are heading back to the burnt forest biome for this next one. This is Seedy Manor. It's a tier 4 POI, however, you can clear this on day 1 if you're willing to be a little bit cheaty with your tactics. This spooky looking building, despite being pretty small, is surprisingly difficult to clear. Inside you'll find creaky floorboards, you'll find plenty of jump scares, and all that good stuff that we've all come to know, love and expect from 7 Days to Die. However, if you want to forego all of the creepy interior goings on, just climb up the tower. It's that simple. If you throw down a few blocks, you can make your way into the main loot area. And if you chip away at the wall here, you're not going to have a lot of enemy resistance. You're not going to walk away super rich, but it does have a hardened chest inside, which is always nice. I do recommend clearing the whole POI because it is an interesting one and it is quite fun too. But if you are looking for a little bit of quick loot on day 1, then maybe drop by Seedy Manor. This is the Cartel house. This is a tier 2 POI, and on Navezgane you'll find it in the desert, which does slightly boost its difficulty. That said, you should be able to visit this place early on and clear it with ease. It is a little bit out of the way if I pull up the map. It's easy to miss, but you're not that far away from Trader Jen. There are a few reasons why I've included this one on the list. The first is the back garden. While this isn't good for looting in the regular sense, it is great for completing challenges or working towards completing challenges. The backyard, as you Americans would say, contains blueberry plants, coffee plants, potato plants, and pumpkins, and they are a little bit tricky to come by, especially if you don't know where to go. The interior of the POI is one of the more interesting places to clear out. If its name hasn't given it away, it's a drug place, allegedly, possibly, don't sue me. You will find chemistry sets all over the place, which can be pretty good for looting. Just be mindful because this place has various traps set up to keep people like you and me out. But if you're willing to make your way up to the roof, then you'll come across this door. And on the other side of the door, there's some nice loot. It's not a lot, but considering it is only a tier 2 POI and you can clear this very early on in your playthrough, I would say that's pretty good going. Also, if you're willing to come down into the basement, you'll find lots more lovely, definitely not drugs, lying around. Just be mindful because this is a mine, not a regular cooking pot. While you can pick it up if you are very, very sneaky, you have to be super careful because if the pot goes boom, so do you. So you might want to consider standing back and shooting it from a distance. But one final note on this place, it is actually a surprisingly good place to take over for the first few Horde nights. I'm just going to give a quick honourable mention to the Crack-A-Book HQ. I'm only giving it a quick mention because I have featured it in several of my videos already. It is a tier 5 POI and in my opinion it's a little bit underwhelming. However, you can come here and get some quick quality loot for very little work. If you, instead of going through the building, you go in through Yucca Juice, you can go into the basement and you can break this wall here. Once you've broken this wall, you will be looking at the back end of a hardened chest. And, well, it's not the best, considering if you're sneaky, you're not going to have to really fight many enemies. It can be pretty lucrative. Up next, we're taking a look at Crack-A-Café. I love saying that. I know you Americans say cafe, but I say caf. In the previous video on loot locations in Navezgane, I did show off the Crack-A-Book that is on the outskirts of Dyersville. This one is a little bit more difficult. It is a tier 3 POI, as opposed to the tier 2 POI mentioned in the previous video, and it is in the snow biome. This, in my opinion, is one of the best places to come and get books. Also, it's not uncommon to be given this as a mission location from a trader, meaning that you can double dip this and get twice the amount of books. It isn't that difficult to clear out, and if you are willing to venture into the back, you'll find several crates with books inside. The main loot itself, see, it's nothing too special, but you're here for the books. And knowledge is power in this game, so come out and clear this one. And also, it is right next to the Super Savage Country, which I did feature in the previous video, along with doggos. So yeah, moving on. Finishing off this video, we have a POI that I've featured in a handful of things I've made. This is the Red Mesa compound. It is a high tier POI and it is very difficult to clear, so be warned. But I learned something new about this place thanks to a comment left on one of my recent videos. Firstly, let's look at the loot. This place will be filled to the brim with undead enemies, so be warned. But the main loot room is right below here. So if you do want to come and cheese it, you can. You will still come across quite a lot of enemies, but nowhere near as many as if you decided to actually go into this enormous facility. The thing that I didn't know, or I did know but I didn't actually put it together, if you invest 3 points into Infiltrator, you can pick up landmines, and while I knew this, I wasn't smart enough to use that to make money. Be sure to have read Urban Combat Volume 5 so you don't go boom when picking these up. Then come outside here and pick up every single mine. You get quite a lot of mines, so if you don't want to actually go into the compound, you don't have to. Just go around the outskirts and grab all the mines. And as you can see, within a few seconds, I've already made over 350 dukes. In fact, what I'll do is I will pause it, I'll pick them up, and I'll show you what I'll make. Right, I went round and I picked up all the ones I could find. I did also drop 2 because I realised I had a couple in my inventory. But I have 9 full stacks, each stack being worth 700 dukes. I have no points in better barter. So if I do put points into that, which I'll show you right now, and take another look, that's 846. I can boost it further, but I'm not going to now. So that's 8 grand in mines, and I switched off God mode to do this to see how many enemies I would have to take down. I had to kill 4. So killing 4 zombies in exchange for a butt ton, which is the official measurement for landmines, is a pretty good trade-off. That said, if you are still feeling brave, feel free to venture in here and grab all this top tier loot. So I hope you found this video useful. If you have watched a lot of my other videos, you will notice that I'm starting to repeat a few POIs. The reason for that is if I'm doing a map specific video like this one, then I kind of need to show them off again, but with the coordinates for the Navezgane map or whichever map I'm using. I would like to say a quick thank you to everybody who watches and comments, and a specific thank you to the person who suggested picking up the mines at this lovely place, because I did not think of that, and I don't think I ever would have thought of that, so thank you. Anyway, I hope to catch you in the next video.